Hi Pisces. I hope you all are enjoying July 2019. I hope you enjoyed Cancer season 2019 and the eclipse energy in July 2019, of course. If you are interested in how that energy is working to transform you and how it will continue to work to transform you, the eclipse energy moving forward over the next 6 months, the next year, I did a pick a card reading about that. And I will link that down below in the description. Now, this reading is for anyone who identifies as or finds themselves very interested in a Pisces at this time as we enter Leo season now, 2019. This is a mid-July 2019 reading, so since it's the first reading I've been able to get out for you this month, Pisces, it may resonate with the entirety of July for some of you. For a lot of us, it's going to actually take you into August and really even through Leo season, since the 23rd is the day when your reading is going up, Pisces. Now, when I say anyone who identifies as a Pisces, that this reading's for anyone who identifies as a Pisces, I do mean Pisces Sun, Pisces Moon, Pisces Rising signs, Venus, Mars, or maybe it's any other placement in your chart, or perhaps you just stumbled on this reading fortuitously, maybe YouTube or the title or something else led you here. That absolutely could still be a good indication that there's a message for you here. Or maybe you are cross-watching for a Pisces, which always works as well. This month I wanted to remind most of my signs that especially when we're cross-watching, right? We definitely want to bring our discernment to the table, as we always should with all readings and everything, really, right? But that's just been coming up this month. So one more card and we will have this abbreviated Celtic cross complete for you, Pisces. This is the Game of Thrones tarot deck that I'm using. Information about this deck and all other decks that I use in Lunartics Tarot readings can be found down below in the description. You've got the King of Fire, the King of Spears, Wands, Rods. On the bottom of the deck, Pisces, we've got the Five of Cups crossed with the 10 of Fire, the 5 of Water, 5 of Chalices crossed with the 10 of Spears, Wands, Rods in the center of the reading. So Pisces, it looks like a lot of you are focused on a loss or multiple losses at this time. Perhaps the eclipses of July 2019 really did remove multiple energies from your surroundings, from your life, multiple people, or it could be energies that are part of your routine, so habits or you know, places of work, etc., that you know are mourning or missing, some of you in some way now. Multiple energies, and you're focused on the lost, you're focused on what has left, and some of you with the 5 of Cups here may be missing what remains, right? The 2 cups behind her. This card reminds us not to leave behind more than we lost. So are you losing more things than is necessary because you're so focused on what or whoever has exited at this point, Pisces? And, you know, this is a heavy burden for you, this loss. And I think, you know, you're emphasizing it, you're exaggerating it. I'm not saying you're exaggerating, but you are heightening that this burden, creating even more pain by focusing solely on the losses. A lot of you, these readings, you know, they're on a spectrum, but for a lot of you, especially with that eclipse energy, that is why it feels so burdensome. You know, and this is also an indication that these losses, these things that are exiting your life at this time, Pisces, or that have just exited with the eclipse energy, those losses, that is part of a spiritual journey for you. Now, of course, it's part of your life, so you know there's that spiritual journey, but it looks like the end of a cycle for you. A creative and or spiritual journey is coming to a close, and it is burdensome to complete that journey, Pisces, because you do have to do certain parts of it all on your own, and it especially specifically at this time you have to do certain parts of that journey without those energies that we were just talking about, you know, that have left, that you're focused on having lost, right? It may be another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, since the Queen of Cups here, the Queen of Water, is in your recent past, possibly. But you see in this, the Ten of Fire, how it looks like he may drop one of these sticks from his bundle, right, in this particular depiction. I've been noticing that recently in a couple of different readings, and it's standing out to me again. Sometimes at the end of the spiritual journey, you do drop something. You do feel so overwhelmed by the burden of this weight, but you have to complete the tasks that are in front of you. You have to finish the journey, right? And so you do lose things along the way. Sometimes you don't complete the journey the way that you pictured completing it. It doesn't look exactly the way you thought it would. Sometimes because some of the details are simply different in, let's say, a creative artwork that you're sharing with the world. But sometimes it's that you pictured the end of that journey being celebrated with certain people or in certain places that end up leaving your life as a step in or part of the journey, in fact. So it's part of, I'm really feeling and sensing that it's part of your own self-development, the road to your self-actualization, self-realization. So I see a lot of different energies. For some of you, you're dealing with a younger fire sign, Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo here with the Page of Fire in the root of the situation. But for others, as I said, it's more that you're focused on losing a more mature, feminine water sign here in the recent past. We see that Queen of Water that I showed you. But what's on your mind when your ego is quiet is possibly for some a Taurus energy. Okay, so and some of you, if you had to leave a friend group or a place of work or business behind, you're missing multiple energies, right? Or you're focused on the loss of multiple energies. So for some of you, it's all of the above. But and you have Pisces energy in your near future, possibly moving toward another Pisces, or what I really feel from this is you feeling comfortable in your own skin, feeling like yourself. There's always a warning with the Moon card that, not necessarily a warning, but just highlights the fact that all may not be what it seems. But I don't think that's what we're seeing here, not for most of you. Actually, I do think it's talking about you stepping into your own after completing this journey. And maybe at that point of completion of the journey, you will feel like you know yourself better, you know who you are, you've found yourself in a sense, right? You feel connected to your purpose, your path, who you want to be. And the Moon card, though it is, I think, representing that you are feeling comfortable in your own skin, you're feeling like who you're meant to be here in the near future, even by the end of July, but certainly by the end of Leo season, around mid to late August, right? But it can also be saying, you know, don't get too comfortable with that version of yourself either. Just like these other old versions that have shed away. And perhaps that's what some of you are looking back on. An old version of yourself that's had to fall away recently with this eclipse energy. There's also Mercury is also still in retrograde, right? It is Pisces until the end of the month. And we then have the the post-shadow period for 2 weeks in August. So there's still also a lot of maybe focused on, a lot of focus for the collective on ex relationships, and whether that means romantic relationships or not, right? Past relationships, feeling the weight of that currently, even if it was a long time ago that loss occurred. But yeah, I do think the moon card is also saying here in the near future, when you feel that new sense of self-understanding and self-realization, it's saying, you know, that still isn't all of who you are or all of who you're going to be. It's still not every version of yourself that you're going to see on this path that you've chosen now. I really think that's true, because then in the more distant future, we have another Pisces card, the Seven of Chalices or Cups, Seven of Water here. So we're also seeing a message of, and as you are feeling very much like yourself, you may want to be careful not to fall into Piscean pitfalls, so to speak, right? Your nature is to see the brilliance of all of these multiple paths that you could choose for yourself, to allow yourself to get overwhelmed and confused, right? At times, and I have significant Pisces in my chart as I say this, and Pisces close to me as well. I see this, you know, warning you against falling into Piscean pitfalls. You're going to be feeling very much like yourself, be feeling very comfortable in your own skin, celebrating what it is that is very you. And in that space, when you are granted multiple opportunities and open doors and new highlighted pathways that you can choose for your future, it would be very much like you to find the confusion there, rather than simply seeing all of your options and celebrating them, allowing yourself, like I said, to get overwhelmed by them. And then sometimes, Pisces, what you do is escape into a fantastical world, fantasy or substances, something that allows you to escape the pressure of all of those opportunities that just naturally gravitate towards you when you are in full bloom, right? When you are, again, feeling confident as exactly who you are authentically. And that's what this burden and these losses are worth, because that is what you are headed directly toward. That is why it's heavy. That's why it's painful. That's why it's sad. It's part of this spiritual development, this personal development and journey. And it's leading you home. It's leading you right toward yourself and feeling comfortable allowing a lot of that self to be seen. Again, that's not all of you, though. There is more to you than that. And some of you, those Piscean pitfalls that I described, some of you may even at times allow that type of description to sink into your subconscious and then start to define you, because you hear that is how Pisces are supposed to be, right? And again, I that's another message with all is not what it seems, though. If anything, Pisces probably hears that message more than most. So there's just as much reason to think that you're more armed and ready to miss those pitfalls than anybody else is, actually, because you hear those types of messages all the time. It doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to be what your path looks like, getting confused and choosing escapism of some sort. That is in connection with Pisces a lot, but that doesn't have to be where your path leads every time. This is a step forward, this completion of this cycle. This is you realizing new parts of yourself, but you still aren't showing the world everything, and you still don't know everything that you're going to become, just to hit that home one more time. This all being rooted in the Page of Fire, Pisces. some of you may have received some very intense, passionate messages from someone, gone within and investigated your emotions about how you felt about them and decided to let them go. For some of you, that's the weight that you're dealing with. And I think it's because you have a deeper commitment on your mind and in your heart with the Hierophant here, and that person or those people, and you just, you knew you could not give as much as they could. You knew you really couldn't take it to the next level with that particular person or group of people. For a lot of you, though, with the Page of Fire here in the root of the situation, this is all about a passion project of yours. While for others, more straightforward and simply put, the reading is saying that you received a message from somewhere warm, or a message during this very warm season for you, right? Those messages led you to exactly what we see pictured here. Prayer about not wanting to lose someone, whether they were, leaving your life willingly or not. Again, maybe a romantic relationship, maybe family, friends. But ultimately, it looks like, there was a loss anyway, regardless, which is some of the prayer. So there's multiple, or I'm sorry, some of the pain and the weight coming through is because, you were in prayer about this and then lost exactly what you were asking not to. So there are multiple messages coming through here for different Pisceans. But for a lot of you, as I said, this is stemming from the Page of Spears because it's all about a passion project of yours. And you have likely been engaging in, or at least have decided to do, the type of work that one might find the Queen of Cups doing. Something creative, something artistic, something that heals others. Maybe through music, maybe through writing, acting, etc., etc. Maybe through the work of a mystic. Perhaps something like tarot reading, Reiki healing, or creating and sharing anything that is intended to, or turns out to, heal other people, to heal those who seek out your work, who run into your work, who collide with it, right? Who find something healing in it. This is also, a counselor, perhaps. So some type of healing and or creative work that touches others emotionally, heals others through healing their emotional bodies. And for a lot of you, this whole description of a passion project blossoming and it coinciding with a spiritual creative journey that is feeling like a burden, you're sitting there saying, like, I know all of this. I've known I was on this journey. I knew this cycle was closing, but simply you just didn't want to have to leave somebody behind. Like I said at the beginning, you wanted to celebrate the close of this cycle with someone who you've had to lose in the process. But there is a deeper commitment on your mind and in your heart at this time, Pisces, with the Hierophant crowning the reading, in your crowning thoughts, your higher thoughts, when your ego is quiet. So for a lot of you, it's the fact that, like I said, you couldn't go to the next level, make a deeper commitment to this person or these people or these energies that had to leave your life. You couldn't take that into your future routine. You couldn't continue to keep up those rituals, those traditions, that even just like that daily ritual, right? You could not take those people or those habits, this past version of yourself, or something that probably you've been trying to hold on to for a while, Pisces. Whatever you had to leave behind, it was, I think, in the name of this deeper commitment, and the fact that you couldn't make a deeper commitment or continue on with one with whom you had in your life, or with whatever energies were sort of defining your energy and your space before, prior to, likely, again, the eclipse energy helping those things, those people to exit. And for so many of you, because it's all stemming from your passion project, we're talking about a deeper commitment to that type of creative healing work, a deeper commitment to yourself, to your own routines, to your own rituals, to what helps you to do this work that you're it looks like very passionate about, and that is very beneficial to others, that heals you as you heal others, likely. These energies that left your life, they were going to be holding you back in some way from making that deeper commitment to self, to the work, for a lot of you, to the business. Maybe it has just been a passion and it has just been an emotional endeavor for you, but you want to turn it into an entrepreneurial pursuit when I see the King of Wands. Others of you are focused on being a family man or a family woman, being someone who can provide for that family or set a good example for that family, which is what really weighing in. But for a lot of you, we're talking about you networking and sparking up interest in your affairs, your business and monetary affairs. And I do think that is a very good fit for you, this work, this creative healing work, this business that you've been building, that it seems like it's taking a long time, or maybe you haven't been building the business. For some of you, you've been building up to the point where you're ready to turn this passion project into something more business-like, or into something you can sell, somehow make resources, or just see, if not monetary return, just see recognition for, right? It looks like it is a good coupling, you and this work, is really what I'm seeing coming through with it being beneath the King of Wands. And even if the passion project for some of you is about a relationship, and it can be for a lot of you, then we can be seeing a significant, soulful, committed, understanding bond here between two people. It's not what's coming through strongest, but you can always sort of shift the message to fit that type of reading. But then we have the Emperor, so I really see you being the boss as summer continues, right? So even moving through August and into September, since I'm digging down into the deck now. And it looks like there's going to be a fated opportunity and a brand new, exciting beginning because of that in Leo season. Or I would say even possibly exiting Leo season for some. Time being fluid. It's going to be slightly different for everybody, Pisces. But that is what is coming through for your mid-July Leo season 2019 reading. Some of you are dealing with things all the way back from 2017. The first 2 times I tried to record this, I kept saying 2017 for no apparent reason. So some of you are dealing with energies, exes from 2017, losses from 2017, or a project that you have been working on and building up toward creating it into a business since 2017, Pisces. A lot of you. And a lot of you probably would benefit from that Eclipse season 2019 energy read. Pick a card energy reading that I did. Again, I will link that down below in the description for you, Pisces. You're the first sign that I thought to say that, to mention that reading at the very beginning of the reading. And I didn't have it written anywhere for me to remember. It just came to me. So that might be particularly significant for you all if you're interested. So that being said, Pisces, if you need a private reading from me, just scroll down to the description box below. You can find all of the options and prices and links there, as well as my email address, LunarticksTarot@gmail.com. And my name is Aze. I'm happy to work with you that way. If you would rather send me an email than follow a link, that's fine with me. And thank you. Thank you for all of your support to Lunartics Tarot. I always want to make sure to mention that. comments, likes, subscribes, shares, all of it. So appreciated. And thank you so much for orders and donations. The link for donating is down below in the description box as well. I hope that you all make very wise choices for yourselves moving forward, Pisces. And I love you. And I will post another reading for you as soon as I can.